know which nation it is.
We're recording before we know the result of the World Cup bid, so we have to keep our options open.
Yes.
But what chance did we have with those cheating foreign bastards anyway? That's all we know.
I found it quite odd that they took Beckham. I know he's obviously a brilliant footballer, etc., but he's not good with words, is he? Was he just doing, like, keep-me-ups in the background while the other two... Because there was a clip on the radio that I heard where he said, you know, football's very important to our country and it's in our DNA. He genuinely said that. He'd seen it written down and he'd heard it, but he'd not put the two together.
If we didn't get it, it's entirely the BBC's fault.
Well,
and I hope they're ashamed of themselves for putting out a panorama with a proper story on it.
And what's the general concern?
What is the point of that? When we're trying to win a competition of football. I mean, really, this country has got a reputation for football. And I think free speech and, you know, the freedom of the press should be suppressed.
But this was all 10 years ago. Why did it have to go out the week before?
Yeah, but the story is recent, and
Well,
it's the same people sitting on the committee.
Why can't you wait till after
Why
we've
not?
won?
Because they've just found out. Because it's interesting. Why put it out afterwards?
Because
got a bunch of crooks
won.
voting on it. Why not say they're a bunch of crooks?
Why not start liking football? Well done to the BBC for being brave, if you've got it. And I back your opinion the whole way, and don't hold that against my sitcom decision in January. Yes, so David Cameron, what's David Cameron been in trouble with the PC lobby this week?
He recounted a joke someone else had made about the Speaker, John Bercow.
Correct, yes.
And the joke was that some Tory MP had banged into John Bercow's car. Bercow had said, "I'm not happy," and then the MP had said, "Well, which dwarf are you?"
So whilst the government are upsetting the poor and the tiny, what's Ed Miliband been up to?
He's got a blank sheet. He was asked what his policies are, and he said, "We're starting again." It's the new Labour policy. Got any ideas? I haven't.
What else has Ed announced this week? Got your catchphrase?
I can't believe it's not Labour.
Oh, no.
Was that the catchphrase?
That's a good catchphrase.
It's actually beyond New Labour. And he was compared to Buzz Lightyear because of this. And there was a hilarious put-down by Tory MP Gavin Barwell. Ed Miliband is looking to Buzz Lightyear for inspiration, but he's more like Buzz Lightweight. Oh, those Tory MPs. But Ed is actually consulting with the people on Labour's new direction. He's set up a discussion group on Twitter. Would you like to see what people have tweeted, Ian? Would you like to see that?
Yes, very, very much, please.
Rosie Cottage says, "It may be very fashionable to talk about the squeezed middle, but what about the squashed bottom?" Natalie WH, "The essence of leadership is that you have a vision. You can't blow an uncertain trumpet." And Peregrine, "Freezing earthworms make them easier to sharpen."
Why does an earthworm need to be sharpened? Is there a reason for that?
In case you forgot your darts.
In case you've got your darts, you sharpen an earthworm.
What else are you going to sharpen to throw in the dartboard?
An earthworm would be one of my least favourite choices.
Yes, this is another week of political upheaval. Ed Miliband has distanced himself from the new Labour years, proudly declaring, "I'm a socialist." Blimey, so that's just him, Ken and North Korea left then. It was a disappointing week for former spin doctor Alistair Campbell, who has narrowly missed out on a Bad Sex Award, the annual prize given to authors who write bad sex scenes. And Campbell's normally really good at sexing up documents. The winner was Roseanne Somerville, who impressed the judges with lines such as, "Like a lepidopterist mounting a tough-skinned insect with a too-blunt pin, he's screwed himself into it."
They should have gone for the Blair stuff. That was the most excruciating sex I'd ever read about.
You nearly said sorry. You nearly said sorry. Looking from the window, getting to the tent, up top of the ladder, in the bedroom with the glasses. I see it all.
I used to read Mills and Boon for a living, and...
You used to read it?
Well, yeah, I used to be a producer of audiobooks, so I'd have to read through it and listen. And the best sex sentence I ever heard was, "He positioned himself for entry," which just sounds like a fat man trying to get through a doorway, doesn't it?
Peter Stringfellow offered to repay his winter fuel allowance this week. The first George Osborne knew about it was when he felt a wrinkled hand shoving 400 quid down the front of his thong. So, at the end of that round, 2 points each.
Yeah.
And so to round 2, the one-armed bandit of news.
Ooh, lovely.
Fingers on Buzz's team. Here's the first one.
This is the man who's got all these millions of pounds worth of paintings, isn't it? Picasso paintings, which were bequeathed to him by Picasso in exchange for him, I think, fitting an electric blanket or something like that. He's an electrician, isn't he, this guy?
He is
did
an
some work for
electrician, yeah.
Picasso.
The family of Picasso are claiming that maybe he didn't receive them as a gift. And
Ah.
the former electrician Pierre claims he was given the pictures by the artist in the 1970s as thanks for installing a burglar alarm.
Ah.
It's quite ironic, isn't it?
And he's done work for other artists. Apparently, he fitted a junction box to a zebra for Salvador Dali. So it's... Let it be okay, go on.
Someone else has shown a surprising aptitude for art this week. Do we know who that was?
Is it some sort of animal?
Yeah, Wayne Rooney. You're now expecting a really bad painting, aren't you?
I'm expecting potato prints is what I'm expecting.
This is his bowl of fruit. It's all right, isn't it? It's better than I could do that.
Yeah, it is all right.
It's not.
Well, I say it's good. He was actually drawing Gary Neville. Art critics have commented on the way that Wayne's painting manages to look at the fruit with fresh eyes, which is fair enough, because he's probably never seen fruit before, has he? Can anyone guess what the Sun's headline was?
Yes, given time and a certain amount of drugs. Not Runebrandt.
No, it's Wayne Renoir.
Oh,
I thought they should have gone with Hey Wayne. Better, isn't it?
that's brilliant.
I won't go that far in, but thanks for patronising me. This is the French electrician who's been accused of stealing paintings worth £50 million whilst doing some work at Picasso's house. To be fair, if he really wanted to rob him of £50 million, he could have just billed him for a couple of extra sockets and an outside light. Picasso had the burglar alarm fitted after a spate of thefts. Police never caught the culprit in spite of releasing an artist's impression. Controversy is now raging in the international art world. Is he a burglar or is he an ordinary French citizen? It's so hard to tell because they both wear those same stripy tops. Fingers on Buzz's teams, here's the next one.
Are those potatoes?
You know that's not the answer to the question. Have I got vegetables for you? Is that what this is called?
It is some weeks. I've no idea. Have you?
No.
We don't know either.
Does nobody know?
No.
No.
I thought everyone knew this. I know it.
What is it?
I'll have a look. It's Chris Voigt, who has eaten nothing but potatoes for the last 2 months. He's the executive director of the Washington Potato Commission. And his mission was to prove that the potato isn't the scourge of the earth.
Has anyone ever said the potato was the scourge of the earth?
Chris had to skip the traditional Thanksgiving meal recently. What did he have instead?
Potatoes.
Roast potato.
No,
Just potato.
it's a type of potato.
Baked potato.
Oh, it's not baked potato.
Mash.
Mash.
Yay.
But mash what?
Potato.
Correct. How many mountains of mashed potato did Chris Voigt have?
I suppose he had 3.
He had exactly 3 mountains of mashed potato,
Did he?
Paul. He moulded 1 serving into the shape of a turkey and browned it in the oven before serving it with mashed potato. And for dessert, a final plate of mash with a sprinkle of pumpkin pie flavouring. The cheating bastard. Fellow potato fans were encouraged to get involved in Chris's message board. What sort of things were they saying?
Get a life.
One of them said, I am curious, does your poo come out like mashed potato and white?
Was there an answer? Because I'm quite intrigued now.
To which Chris replied, in like a potato, out like a yam. Is that too much information?
Yes.
Yes, it is, Chris, yes. In other food news, what was auctioned for £410 this week?
A boiled egg that was once eaten by Queen Victoria.
You can't have it both ways, can you?
She did.
Do you want me to give you a clue? Should I mime it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Giant.
That'll do.
Giant tooth.
Would you eat your own teeth?
I don't know, times are hard.
It rhymes with busted cream.
It's a custard cream, then.
It's a giant custard cream. Or maybe it's a normal-sized custard cream and 2 borrowers eating it. A study claimed an estimated 25 million people in Britain had been injured by biscuits. 28% had choked on crumbs, 10% had broken tooth or filling, 3% had poked themselves in the eye with a biscuit, 1% were bitten by a pet trying to get to their biscuit. And true, one man ended up stuck in wet concrete after wading in to pick up a stray biscuit. This is American Chris Voigt, who has eaten nothing but potatoes for the past 2 months. On day 59 of his diet, Mr. Voigt was asked how he managed to keep meals interesting when there were so few ways of cooking potatoes. To which he replied, "You mean you can cook them?" Mr. Voigt doubled the original length of his potato-only diet to 60 days because, as he said, anyone can do anything for 30 days, unless it involves a promise and Nick Clegg. Fingers on buzzers.
Who's he?
He's claiming to be Mullah Akhtar Mohammed Mansour.
Oh, I know who this is.
You know who it is? Yes, who is it?
It's not him, anyway.
This guy was supposed to be the deputy leader of the Taliban and got all the way to Washington, nice flight, the attention, and then said, oh, sorry, no.
I'm not. No, MI6, our intelligence services, said we're going to negotiate with the Taliban and we'll get you Mansour, who's a sort of big Taliban leader. Anyway, they got this bloke and they paid him a huge amount of money and everyone listened and he said, oh, we can do a deal. And then he went away and they said, oh, he's not Mansour at all. He's a shopkeeper. And so we've wasted a huge amount of money. And the intelligence services have got red faces, really.
And the reason why they were particularly suspicious about the imposter's negotiation was because he'd never asked for a withdrawal of Western troops before formal talks with the Afghan government began. And also, his beard was attached by elastic. Bill Harris, until recently the most senior US representative in Kandahar, shared his thoughts on who was to blame. Who did he finger?
The Brits.
Different question, isn't it?
No, he said, something this stupid generally requires teamwork. Yeah, this is a shopkeeper from Pakistan who conned MI6 out of as much as $500,000 by convincing them he was a leading Taliban commander. When they heard how the British security forces had been duped, the Taliban celebrated in their usual way. Dancing in the street was clamped down on even harder. An intelligence source told the Times that the whole affair was down to a major fuck-up. Well, with a name like that, you're asking for trouble. Which means at the end of this round, it's Ian and Sarah with 3 points, Paul and Ken with 4. Time now for the odd one out round. The 4 are Harrison Ford, ITV1's breakfast show Daybreak, Stephen Fry, and Sunday, April the 11th, 1954.
I think that's the only date that nothing happened on.
Almost. It's the most what of the century?
Boring.
Correct.
So...
Until today.
I've had a lovely day.
So nothing at all happened in 1954 on that day?
No, because it's a computer program where they put in all the different facts of what happened when, and that's the day that's come up where the least things have happened.
Absolutely right. After finding that every other day of the last century had at least one major occurrence, computer program William Tunstall Pedo had calculated April the 11th, 1954 as the most boring day in the 20th century. So we've now established that that's boring.
Well, the Daybreak couple aren't exactly exhilarating, are they? So maybe... maybe they're boring as well.
Do you not like them?
I've not watched them.
Right.
I've not liked them enough to watch them.
Do you watch the other side?
No, it's morning, love. I don't do mornings. Stephen Fry the odd one out because he's clearly not boring.
Well, no, he's not. He's been labelled boring as well.
Oh.
They have all been branded boring, apart from ITV's Daybreak, which was described in much more critical terms by its presenter Adrian Childs this week.
He said it was a disaster.
According to the Sunday Mirror, Childs launched a blistering 4-letter attack on his own breakfast show, branding it a crock of shite. I'm not sure they've quite understood the essential feature of a 4-letter word.